They say not to judge a book by its cover, and as far as fragrances go, I don't think that has ever rung as true as it does in the case of Detour Noir by Haramain. Yeah, this one here, as you can see, the bottle is quite ugly, for lack of a better word. However, that is zero indication of the quality of the juice that's inside the bottle. Yes, we all know this as a clone of Parfums de Layton, and it's a damn good one. So if you are wanting to find out more, stick around, watch this review. Hey everybody, welcome back to Real Scent Review. Thanks for tuning in again. It's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, I've been spending all this time thinking of the absolute best one to review next. And I think I've come up with a pretty damn good offering here. Haramain's Detour Noir. Don't judge a book by its cover. That rings very true in this case here. We all know this one as a clone of Parfums de Layton. So that one is a niche offering, technically. However, it is one of those niches that is just so easily likable by almost everybody in the general population. It's very accessible, at least in terms of scent profile. The price is a different story. It's quite an expensive one, depending on how you look at it. But I think the average person would agree that that one is quite expensive. So that's where this one comes in. Detour Noir by Haramain. I'm gonna get right into this one here. So as we can see with the box, I think, you know, the entire presentation here, starting with even the box, it's very, I don't know, not what I would call super visually appealing. I think it's rather tacky, to be honest, and I know I'm not the only one who thinks that, but I mean, it just, I think it's an ugly box. So yeah, I mean, we all know what's on the box. Let's get this open. So the bottle here, Haramain, just, it's a very abstract looking shape. I mean, I don't really know what they were trying to emulate with this. Everything from the cap, super tacky. The bottle itself just looks like one of those $5 checkout colognes that you can buy at the drugstores, you know, I don't know. Don't know what they were thinking with the packaging here. However, the juice on the inside here is a totally different story, right? So the cap, super lightweight. It also, you know, it doesn't really click into place that well. And also, if you try to put the cap in the other direction, it will not screw on, or it will not click on, rather. So you have to make sure it's always lined up this way, the long end with the long end of the bottle, and the short end with the short end. I'm gonna waste a spray. The one redeeming value of this bottle, if you could even call it that, is the atomizer. The atomizer is actually not terrible. It's not the best, but it definitely gets the job done. What more can you ask for? I've seen worse, I've seen better, but you know, the atomizer definitely the best part of this bottle here. So the scent itself, ooh, very nice. Very nice. You know, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, I'm going to go over the official note breakdown here, according to Haramain's website. So the official note breakdown is the following. In the top, apple, violet, and jasmine. In the mid, we have some vanilla, patchouli, mandarin, orange, bergamot. And in the base, we have cardamom, geranium, sandalwood, pepper, and guaiac wood. All right, interesting note breakdown here. And I will say this, Haramain has clearly updated their official note breakdown of Detour Noir on their website, because I will just mention they used to have a note breakdown for this fragrance that was not representative whatsoever of the actual smell. In fact, the note breakdown that they used to have on their official website was very similar to the actual note breakdown of Pegasus, which is another, frankly, very good fragrance from Parfums de Marly, but it's not Layton, and the two fragrances smell totally different. But like I said, Haramain has clearly updated their website because now the official note breakdown is, you know, more or less similar to what Detour Noir actually smells like. So what I detect here is in the top, I definitely get some lemon and some lavender. And in the mid, I get some cardamom, vanilla, and almond. And in the dry down, there's some pepper, vanilla, and cedar. This cologne is astoundingly good. It's extremely good. It's very, very close to Layton, yes, but it's not what I would call identical. I was at a department store the other day and I was able to sample Layton. Obviously, it's a very good scent and I like it. And yes, it is extremely similar to Detour Noir in terms of both quality and actual scent profile. But there are some very small differences between the two, and I'm going to highlight those here. So Layton, we all know, starts off with that really nice apple note. So some people have called it in the past apple pie. I personally think it smells a little bit like freshly baked apple pie, right? But the point is there's a very distinct apple note. And in this one here, I honestly don't get the apple. I get instead lemon. It's a sweet lemon. It reminds me of lemon meringue pie, right? Freshly baked lemon meringue pie, but not apple. I definitely, this is coming off as lemon to my nose, which is very pleasant. Another difference here is where this is one of the cases where I think in this particular regard is better than Layton. Layton has a sort of medicinal menthol-like quality. It can come off, like I said, as pretty medicinal and sometimes a little bit unpleasant. So keep that in mind. You know, and this one does not have the menthol medicinal note at all. This one is totally clear of that. And as we continue drying down here, I mean, apart from those two things, the smells are pretty much identical. So in the dry down going on here, you know, we got some pepper, some vanilla, a little tiny bit of cedar. Although on Haramain's website, it doesn't really specify that cedar is a note, but I definitely get it because there's a trail next to my house that I go walking on sometimes, and there are a bunch of cedar trees there. And sometimes if the wind is, you know, blowing in a particular direction, I can really smell the fresh woody cedar trees, which is an awesome smell, by the way. And I definitely get that in the dry down here. So yeah, definitely. Besides those two differences, there is really not a huge variation between Layton and this one. But like I said, this one actually lacks the unpleasant menthol note that Layton has. And this one has lemon instead of apple. That's what my nose detects at least. But otherwise, super similar. And that brings me on to the next topic, which is performance. So I've done some digging, and it appears that a lot of people are complaining about recent formulations of Layton, you know, being weaker than older batches, for example, which can happen sometimes in the perfume industry. Now, I sampled a fairly new bottle of Layton. I did look up the batch code. It was made in September of 2022, so fairly recent. So I walked around with that spray on my wrist. I walked around the whole day. And so I was able to kind of gauge the performance on that one. I've also been wearing Detour Noir frequently, and I think that the performance is slightly better here. There's a couple of caveats. Layton projects more in the beginning. Layton is stronger at the start. This one is not weak at the start, but Layton is still stronger. Now, I find Layton becomes much, much less intense very quickly. It starts off strong, but it kind of, you know, goes dying down pretty quickly after initial application. That's with the recent batch that I've tried. And this one here starts off, you know, not weak, but like not super strong like Layton. But this one maintains itself for much longer than Layton. This one, you know, projects moderately for much longer than Layton does, whereas Layton's projection starts heavy, it goes down to pretty soft, I would say fairly quickly. This one here projects moderately for several hours. The projection on this I got over 2 hours. It's one of those where if you're moving around, you're gonna catch little bits of this in the air around you. And also the longevity on this is considerably better than the new batch of Layton, the one that I sampled at least. So I get 8 hours, definitely 8 hours, maybe pushing 9 hours as well, depending on how moisturized my skin is, depending on a couple of other factors. but like easily 8 hours longevity. And Layton is not weak. It wasn't weak, but it kind of like after 6.5 hours, I really had to dig my nose into my wrist to be able to smell it anymore. So I think all things considered, I do think the performance on this one is better. You know, and now we're going to talk a little bit about the versatility. Layton itself is a super versatile fragrance, and this one is no different. I don't really think you have to save this type of fragrance for a particular event. I think you could easily wear this on a night out. I think you could almost as easily wear it to a formal event as well. It's just super appealing, the scent profile. There's like hardly any people out there that are going to dislike this, and it's honestly the same with Layton. So, you know, anywhere, the only time I would avoid wearing this is in the super hot days of summer, but any season really, as long as it's not too hot, you can get away with wearing this. And even on summer nights, you could get away with wearing this as well. I think this scent transcends age. I think, honestly, a teenager could enjoy wearing this just as well as a middle-aged man, right? This one is a super versatile all-rounder. And because of the price, which is my next point, I truly think this is just the better deal than Layton. Right now on Fragrance Buy, you can get this for like $35 US. For a 100 milliliter bottle, and Layton for a 75 milliliter bottle is, I forget the exact price, but it's like $100 more expensive. So yeah, you know, considerably better value on this because, like I mentioned, the smell is almost the exact same. In fact, it kind of removes a couple of the unpleasant facets of Layton. And like I said, the performance on this one, it is better. It's better to my nose. You know, I'm astounded how well this is blended. A lot of times when you get a clone, like an obvious clone of a fragrance, which is what this one is, it's clear that they're imitating Layton. A lot of times clones can be pretty horrible quality, honestly. You know, everything from like performance issues to like a really heavy alcohol smell in a lot of them. This one doesn't have any performance issues, and I don't get any whiffs of that cheap perfumer's alcohol that a lot of clones have. So all in all, I really think this is an amazing deal. I think if you're a collector, you know, maybe if you're an intermediate collector and you're thinking about getting Layton, by all means, spend that money if you want to. But I'm here to tell you, my honest opinion is that this is just a better value, honestly. If you're especially younger and you are on a budget, I would say don't even hesitate. Just buy this. Maybe if you want to at some point pick up Layton just for like the brand name, you know, Parfums de Marly is a very well-known niche brand. You know, save up for that, buy it in a few years or whatever. But I would say if you're in that position right now, just pick this one up. It'll give you the exact same experience as Layton will, but the experience will last a little bit longer because, like I said, the performance on this one is excellent. So guys, that's really all I have to say about Haramain's Detour Noir. Hands down, one of the most accurate clones of any fragrance that I have ever tried. I'm sure there are a lot more, but right now I can count this definitely within my like top 3 most accurate clones. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you sticking around for this full review. And please don't forget to like and subscribe here. And we'll see you next time. Until then, keep it real.